everybody. My greetings to everybody within our module Social Presence and Online Tutoring, and we continue with our fourth part. In our previous talk, we were discussing ICT tools and we highlighted the problem of social media. So today we are going to continue the discussion and to highlight the question or to try to answer the question, what is social media in online tutoring? Is it one more burden, technological burden to overload our students, or it is really a very helpful extension? So first of all, we'll speak about the definition of social media and which tools, which applications can be defined as social media. In the most common sense, social media is known as the collection of online communications channels dedicated to community-based input, interaction, content sharing, and collaborations. Today, there are very many types of social media, and there are websites and applications dedicated to forums, microblogging, social networking, social bookmarking, social curation, and wikis. Well, really, very many things, very many applications and tools, and really it's very easy to get lost in all this ocean of applications. So in this presentation we'll try to group them and to see how they can be applied in the context of online tutoring. So here are 14 at least groups which were defined. Web tools for social bookmarking, for collaborative authorship, for image sharing, video sharing, calendar sharing, book sharing, voice sharing, presentation, and so on and so forth. So we'll just highlight some of the channels, some of the applications within these groups. Here they are, social bookmarking, and we have here stumble upon clip markers. In collaborative authorship, we may mention Google Docs, Wikipedia, PDWorks, and so on. In image sharing, SlideShare, Flickr, Picasa. In video sharing, YouTube, Vimeo, and others. In calendar sharing, Google, mostly used, book sharing, and video sharing for podcasts and Podmatic, presentation sharing like SlideShare, Google Slides, Presentation Tube, social networking for Facebook, and communication text and voice for Twitter, Messenger, WhatsApp, and very many others. Other groups, blogging and RSS feed, digital storage and remote access, Dropbox, Google Drive, Yandex Disk, geographical mapping tools. So, are social media tools really effective to optimize the learning process or another technological burden? And other questions which are in mind of the researchers and practitioners. Is implementing social media really beneficial for learning and for online tutoring, or still learning management systems may cover all the necessary aspects of online tutoring? So, what is social media? Is it a complementary tool, or maybe some fans of social media would say and stress that it can be regarded as the main tool to deliver the content? And another question, is social media just a fancy trend, distracting attention from learning, or really beneficial to complement needs of learning and interactivity within the online learning community? Dealing with these mentioned questions and very many other problems, we addressed our attention to the analysis of the recent research and case studies. And these endeavors helped us to highlight the main problems which are under the research focus nowadays. Here they are: the role of social media in enhancing learning outcomes, the capabilities of social media to facilitate collaborative learning, the role of social media in facilitating communication, personal and group development, establishing learning communities with social media, students' willingness to use social media for learning purposes, the ability of social media to develop critical thinking and creativity, and manageability of social media versus learning management system interface. In the context of the problems highlighted, we would like to draw your attention to the model of push and pull factors on implementing social media in the context of online tutoring. So here there are, first of all, academic reasons, extent to which students and lecturers understand the role of social media and how they can be used for academic purposes. Another push factor, social networking, the use of social media tools to meet friends, to meet members, to meet lecturers, to meet other people from the learning communities and outside of the community. Social influence of friends, of families, of lecturers, academicians on the use of applications of social media. Easy to use, the degree how the applications can be introduced and implemented in the context of online tutoring. And convenience, the availability of various social media tools in providing social and academic interaction. Well, together with the push factors, we have to deal and to keep in mind the other group of factors which are working against of applying social media in the context of learning and in the context of online tutoring. There are barriers and limitations which provide this kind of wall for implementing social media. What kind of barriers can be? Social, psychological, technological, and prejudices, cultural, technical, and very many things, in fact, may limit the mind on implementing on social media in online tutoring. And e-learning perceptions, of course, students and lecturers' perceptions on how learning should occur affect a lot on the usage of the applications. Well, so let's discuss social media now in the context of the purposes of online tutoring, which tools can be applied, and what are their weaknesses and pluses of such tools implementations. First, establishing communities of practices, realizing dialogical learning, opportunities for individualized scaffolding. So what kind of social media tools are applicable in this context? They are Facebook, Twitter, Google+, Blogger, Periscope, Instagram, Wiki, Second Life, and this list can be continued. And so what about the weaknesses and limitations and maybe pluses of this implementation? There are, first of all, possibilities for sharing practices, questioning, discussing, supporting, developing a sense of community. Second Life and other massive online games are very effective for interaction and modeling situation, for discussing strategies and finding solutions. Together with that, we have to keep in mind that there is a weakness as well, that is the restrictions on ethical issues, local policies, and some individual attitudes as well. Here we continue with the other group of purposes and social media tools, and also their discussion on the pros and cons. So peer reviewing, peer tutoring, synchronous online tutoring, opportunities for individualized scaffolding. Which tools are applicable? They are online conferencing interface such as Adobe Reader, Skype, Viber, WhatsApp, Hangouts. And as for asynchronous online tutoring or asynchronous online communication, we could suggest emailing, Blogger, YouTube, WhatsApp, and what are the commands and what are the weaknesses or what are the pros of implementation of these tools? Usage of the tool can be restricted by the local policies or technical limitations and popularities among the users in the area. Conferencing options may vary in the number of participants which are allowed to join the communication online. Instant communication, announcing and exchange information also can be specified by the limitations of the tool. The online tutor's familiarity with the tool is the most crucial factor for implementing. So here psychological barriers can play a certain role to accept the tool for its implementation or to reject it in the very beginning. Here we are going to discuss another group of purposes of online tutoring. They are knowledge construction or group-based learning, mural writing, reflection, and self-reflection. So for knowledge constructing and group-based learning, massively multiplayer online role-playing games are very much applicable because they join together the genres of role-playing video games and massively multiplayer online games. Speaking about mural writing, most commonly used tool nowadays the Google Disk, which allows collaboration of the same piece of writing being distant from each other in time and place. And speaking about reflection and self-reflection, we would suggest applying blogging tools such as Bloggers, Google+, Facebook opportunities, and Google Disk as well. So what are the pros of application of these tools? Collecting information on the students' evaluation of the classes, their reflection on learning experiencing, tracing students' progress, and analyzing blogs, analyzing their feedbacks, analyzing their writing can help us to collect information on their attitudes on the course and their progress on the course, and then to use this information for more effective development of the content and the framework of the online tutoring as a whole. So we see that still it's not that much straightforward to apply social media tools, and there are very many things to consider. So how to make usage of social media tools really beneficial for online tutoring? And here we are coming up with some practical advices to take into account. Well, first of all, consider the main learning platform and define on their limitations on the content delivery, communication, collaboration, and interactivity. After that, think and analyze on social media tools and consider their implementation to enhance interactivity of the course delivered via learning management system. Account on the students' preferences and attitudes to social media in order to choose a platform shared by all the learners. Identify clearly aims of implementing social media tools, activities which are going to be conducted within learning management system and social media platforms. Outline the content and social media tool usage with the reference to the students' educational, demographic, and cultural background. Select social media tools regarding to learners' preferences. Limit their number, not to confuse the students and not to make them feel overwhelmed with the stream of information and with the managing of very many different channels. Incorporate the social media tools into learning management system of the course to facilitate the access and management of the whole communicative process. Provide a brief pre-course instruction on the strategies of behavior in social media environment and tips on keeping the learning environment and the private space apart in the area of social media. Which social media to use and how to define and how to make a decision on the selection of social media tool. We suggest here a series of criteria which from our point of view will be helpful to follow and then to apply for evaluating social media. So they are usefulness and the ability to satisfy learning needs within the online tutoring. Appropriateness for the class, age, ethics, and so on. Easy to manage. Possibilities for group collaboration, the options of survey and collecting information, assessment and evaluation, data obtaining options, how much that social media tool is popular among the students, what about the technical and policy restrictions in the area, if there are any, the possibilities and options for textual, visual, and audio information and sharing, which modes of online tutoring can be satisfied with this social media tool, synchronous or asynchronous, and if in case of the technological failure or some other failure, which tool can be used to replace the one which you have already selected. Well, to sum up everything which we discussed here in this part, what should we do? Clear explanation of the purposes of implementing social media tools in learning, distinct identification of activities which are going to be realized via social media tools, and benefits of the learning outcomes with social media tools will increase students' engagements and lower their frustration to communicate in the social media environment. Thank you very much for your attention and joining us to discuss the role of social media in our fourth part. And we will continue with the discussion how to conduct evaluation within the context of online tutoring. Thank you very much.